Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Toku Topics. Today I am finally getting to begin my Wave 12 reviews. Finally! This has been taking so long to get Wave 12, and so far it's already been a gigantic mess. So today's video is going to be Dino Thunder Yellow, because that is what people voted for the most on my Twitter poll, in which I asked which Wave 12 figure did you guys want to see the video for first. But it's just been a complete mess here, and as you can see, this is not the full Wave 12. I still don't have Lost Galaxy Green, who should be on the way from Big Bad Toy Store alongside 3/4 of Wave 13 as I'm making this video. But all three of these I've got from Amazon, and all three of them I'm not happy with so far, because if you look at my Dino Thunder Yellow, her box is beat up in the corner there, which I am not very happy about. My MMPR Black, his box is beat up right here on the artwork. And my Wild Force Blue is not new. It's not a complete new figure. Every single one of his accessories, including his hands and fighting fins on this side of the box, are not there. And this box has been very clearly opened and resealed. So I have a replacement Wild Force Blue on the way, and I don't care enough about the boxes on the other two to really bother with that process. Today's focus is on Kira, which is the final main trio member of Dino Thunder to get a release in the Lightning Collection, and it is the fourth member of the team to get a release. We are going to be getting Tommy in Wave 14, Dino Thunder Black in early 2023, but this is also kind of bittersweet because this is one of the final, or this is the final wave and final Lightning Collection items in general to have the really pretty Tom Whalen artwork on the side. That's been a staple of the line since the very beginning back in 2019. So yeah, here is Dino Thunder Yellow. So I'm very excited that we finally have her. It's another Once a Ranger Retro Ranger member to add to our collection as well. And I think that this figure turned out pretty good for the most part here. So it's also just been such a long time since we've had a regular Wave figure in the Lightning Collection. It's been since February since Wave 11 came out. This figure did release internationally in like China and some other countries back in like June of 2022. So it's just definitely taken a very long time to get her here, but let's finally take a look at her. So inside the box there, I think everything looks pretty good. So I'm happy with the amount of accessories that she has, even though there's some weird nitpicky things I'll get into when I actually open it up. Of course, Dino Thunder Yellow Ranger. You get the very beautiful Tom Whalen artwork there for one of the final times, which of course continues onto the side as per usual, with the Dino Thunder logo and everything like that. And then there is the other side with the rest of the Tom Whalen artwork. And then on the back, you have the render there with the Thundermax blaster with, I believe, a new effect piece. I think it might be a new one, this kind of smaller one for the blaster. And then she's holding one Terra grip, almost like it's a blaster. It's not supposed to be, but this is kind of the impression I got with this kind of pose that Hasbro's got going on here. But the blast effect piece is right there. It's a new one. So unlike the plastic-free packaging videos I've been doing recently, I am going to go ahead and open this one off screen like I used to do. Alright, so here is Kira out of the box with everything that she comes with, and this figure is pretty good. I really don't have like too many complaints about this thing whatsoever, just like some really minor things that I could kind of bring up, but are really not big faults of this figure. I think Hasbro actually did a really good job bringing Dino Thunder Yellow to the Lightning Collection here. So first of all, taking a look at the actual figure itself, I think they did a really good job capturing her suit and all the details and everything there. I really do like how it turned out. Now, one thing I definitely compliment them on is the fact that they finally painted a Dino Thunder visor white. They have just not been able to get Dino Thunder visors correct, like at all, on the Lightning Collection. That's been a big thing with these guys for this team. Of course, like the infamous Dino Thunder White situation. And then Red and Blue had silver trimmed visors when they're supposed to be white trimmed, and they finally did get it here on Kira. So kind of just weird that it took them so long to do that, but it does make the helmet look really nice. They even got the tiny little silver eyes on the pterodactyl up there. So I think that they did a really good job capturing that helmet look. They even have the gold painted around the kind of collar there. I think the Dino Thunder symbol looks really good. Very similar kind of blaster holster as Blue and Red had. And then of course, some people are going to kind of complain about the fact that they didn't do the whole white, or not white, the black trim around all the white diamonds there, which I don't think looks bad. I mean, technically, yes, show accurate wise, suit accurate wise, she would have these outline trims on here, but that'd just be a lot of paint that I would not expect Hasbro to actually bring to the figure. So it doesn't bother me. I think it's perfectly fine. Bandai's Legacy figure did the same thing, where they didn't paint all of that, and I'm perfectly good with that. They did mold the Morpher pretty good, if I can kind of get it to focus there. So there is the pterodactyl little plate on the Dino Morpher. She is pinless, if you might have noticed that there. So she is pinless, and she has double jointed elbows, which are a little tight on mine. So let's kind of try to crack in those joints, break in those joints a little bit, because I did just take her out of the box. A lot of times with the double jointed elbows, I can never get like the other joint of it to finally crack in, so there's half of it. But they did give her double jointed elbows. That feels a little gummy on that one. So, you know, of course, just be a little, you know, cautious and careful with these. I will say that I think the double jointed female elbows feel a lot more sturdier than the single jointed ones, as I'm always afraid of ever since my Psycho Yellow's arm snapped at that elbow joint. So always want to be careful with that. Of course, the female figures as well, they have a little skirt cut there, so it makes the articulation on the legs still pretty usable, pretty pliable, kind of soft material there, so you can still get a pretty good pose with her. And, you know, kind of, I mean, be careful because it would kind of warp the rubber of that, but for the most part, they did a pretty good job. So really don't have too many complaints there whatsoever. The only other thing too is that maybe they could have painted the white on the little like white patches on the gloves there, because they did paint that on, if I remember correctly, they painted it on Connor, but not on Ethan, which was always kind of strange. And of course her swappable hands don't have it either, but she does have that kind of karate chop hand for her right hand, and kind of this splayed open hand for her left hand, holding up 4 fingers, which I don't exactly remember what the reasoning of that is, but it's probably some kind of reference photo of Abra Yellow or of Dino Thunder Yellow doing that, and I just don't particularly remember it. She does have her signature, or her signature weapons, which are the Terror Grips there, which they did a really good job with, in my opinion. The only thing I would have said on this one is that it would have been kind of nice to have the red eyes painted in there, because it makes it just look a little bland without it. But they did get the little like black detailing there and the silver detailing. So for the most part, they look pretty good. These kind of, I always thought these were kind of like knives, right? You know, I mean, the back of the box implies that they're sort of like blasters, but they never really were that. They almost kind of had like the tip to be one, but they're always kind of like double, you know, daggers to me. You know, kind of like Trini's power daggers or something like that. And then speaking of blasters, you do get the Thundermax blaster, which is very strange to me, and the reason why is because it's not the same paint level as the other ones were on Connor and Ethan. So all 3 of them have had the Thundermax blaster, but it was significantly painted differently, which I'm going to put a little picture of it up on the right screen right now. It was definitely painted much more differently on Connor and Ethan than it was here on Kira, and I don't really get why. Also, the blues are also significantly different colors compared to the 2 as well, so I don't really know what that's about, but of course that can go into her holster, which is where I will primarily put it. Actually, I'll wait until I use the blast effect piece real quick. But also, she has no Thundermax saber, which I probably wouldn't really give her anyway, because like the Dino Thunder, you know, Rangers, I'd rather they're holding their signature weapons. But it's just odd that she doesn't have the saber, especially because she has the smallest personal weapons. You know, like Ethan had the Tricera shield, which is really big. It's a big piece that I'm surprised that they even gave it to him in the first place. I'm happy that they did. But even he had the blaster and the saber with everything else. So I don't really see why Kira couldn't have had it. It's very bizarre to me, especially because Wave 12 isn't filled with like a ton of accessories heavy figures. But you do get this new blast effect piece, which is a pretty cool one. I do like whenever we get new ones, kind of like in this teal color. There's this little slot right there, which is supposed to fit into like both barrels of the Thundermax blaster, like that. So I like that quite a bit, and I assume that it would probably work with the other ones. I don't have my Connor and Ethan here right now to fully test that, but I do like how that looks quite a bit. And then we can go ahead and take the Thundermax blaster. And then it's always weird because you kind of have to stretch out the holster because of like the kind of, you know, thickness of the blaster. You kind of have to stretch it out to fit it, but you can. And there we go, all holstered up there. And then of course the final thing to take a look at if she wants to stand up is her civilian head. So I think this one is not terrible. I definitely do see Emma Lahana in there. Not like super greatly. Here's a picture of her next to the actress, of the civilian head next to the actress. So it's, I honestly, I see, like every time I look at this, I see Winona Ryder from Stranger Things in there. That's what I see, kind of like how she looked like in like Edward Scissorhands or something like that. That's what I see with this one. So it's not the greatest head sculpt. The Dino Thunder ones have been kind of hit or miss. I think Trent's and Ethan's were pretty good, but Connor and Kira's have not been the absolute greatest. So let's see how easy her head is to swap. So she does have the old neck joint. That's interesting. I actually don't know if I knew that or not. So she has the old typical neck joint with the kind of, hinge that just goes up and down, not the one that's like the ball joint on top of a ball joint. So that's definitely interesting. So let's see. Okay, that clipped in pretty easily. There's a little speck of yellow there. So there is the head sculpt on Kira there. Which, yeah, probably not one of the best ones, but definitely not one of the worst ones either. I see it enough, So that is Kira there. So overall, pretty good figure. It's really nice to finally complete the core members of Dino Thunder, and I'm very happy, and at this point also kind of sad about, with everything going on, to finally get Tommy's Dino Thunder Black next year in Wave 14. But yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for Kira here. I do want to go ahead and put the Terra grips into her hands, which I'm sure it probably matters which one goes into which hand, but see, I can't even get her to grip them, so give me a second. Alright, so there it is with the Terra grips there, and that is going to do it for my video review of the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Dino Thunder Yellow Ranger from Wave 12. So, really, really good one here. I'm not sure if it's going to be my wave favorites. I always kind of like to pick a wave favorites whenever we get main retail waves. And it's just nice to finally get a retail wave figure again for the first time in a very long time. And yeah, I think it's a pretty good figure. Like I said, just some, minor little minor paint things that they could have maybe included on the figure. But for the most part, I think the accessories are definitely solid. I'm not too worried about not getting a Thunder Max Saber, since I barely would have used it with her anyway. And I think that's what we did get here is perfectly fine for her, and she will go great with the rest of the Dino Thunder team. So that's going to do it for my first video here in Wave 12. My second one here is going to be the MMPR Black Adam version, which is most certainly my least favorite figure of the wave, but we'll get to that one when we get to that one here. So of course, until next time, I'd love to read what you guys have to say down in the comments below about Dino Thunder Yellow, or anything else in the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. And of course, until next time, you can also follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or LightningFigPR, and I'll see you all later.